This video is sponsored by Workday. There is no one single metric businesses can use to measure growth. Instead, several data points and subjective opinions are needed to determine forward movement. Global Tech Box sat down with CFOs of some of the biggest and fastest growing startups in Europe to ask them how they measure growth, the challenges they face, and much more. Welcome to Global Tech Box. I'm your host, Cedric Bollock, and this is the very first episode of the video series CFO Talks. We partnered with Workday, who is a leading provider of enterprise cloud applications for financial management, human resources, planning, spend management, and analytics. Basically, everything you need as a CFO of a fast-growing startups. These tools and solutions have been adopted by thousands of organizations around the world and across industries. This is the first of 4 episodes where we talk to the CFOs of the fastest growing startups in Europe. We will discuss 4 main topics from different perspectives: growth, transparency and flexibility, scaling, and last but not least, compliance. The CFOs will shed some light on these topics and share their experiences, learning, failures, and success. Watching these videos and taking in the insights can help you avoid big mistakes and, more importantly, gives you a peek into the thinking of leading CFOs. You can easily sign up to get all the videos directly into your inbox with the link in the description below. So let's get started with the first topic: growth. How do companies define growth? Is it calculated by looking at the growth indicators such as new clients or turnover? The Crypto Finance Group offers investors products and services including asset management, brokerage services for asset trading, and tokenization solutions. They have offices in Zurich and in Zug in the Crypto Valley, which houses one of the world's densest clusters of crypto economic companies that use blockchain technology. If you want to learn more about blockchain, we have a whole video on that with the CEO of the Crypto Finance Group. But for now, let's hear from Jörg Egli. What does he think about new clients or turnover?
These are the most important ones for me, but at the same time, you're only able to sell your product and rendering services as long as they are on a high quality level. And to ensure that, you also need to monitor how much of, for instance, how much of the revenues or income is reinvestment in our platform, in our storage platform, or for instance in our trading system. So this reinvestment factor is also kind of KPI for me to ensure, to make sure that we can keep the quality of our services and products.
It's refreshing to know that CFOs recognize reinvestment as a marker for growth. Additionally, Pietro Capiaci, CFO at Starmind, uses different tools to measure their growth.
So it starts from, let's say, from lead generation and the sales process, where we use the tool HubSpot and Salesforce as our CRM tool. In there we have built in like the whole lead generation and sales process. We have lots of data in there which can be analyzed, and from analysis made, we can then derive like the right decisions which need to be done, like in order also to adapt our sales approach.
Starmind is an AI tech for businesses, and its user-friendly platform enables your employees to access the information they need to enhance productivity. Headquartered in Switzerland, Starmind has perfected its neural know-how network that mimics the human brain. We heard from a few companies about some of their indicators of growth, but how do companies actually propel growth? At Starmind, the strategy for growth in 2021 is to focus on keep, grow, and win. But I'll let Pietro explain it to you.
The keep means we want to satisfy our clients. Happy clients will stay, will retain with Starmind, and this is the basis for growth, to have a customer base. The grow part is we have still a lot of clients in which we can grow because they only use Starmind in one department or several departments, so there is a lot of growth potential. And the last one is obviously like to win new clients.
Peter Wintischhofer from Refurbed, a Vienna-based marketplace for refurbished electronics, actually has a different growth strategy. Because they work so much on making their customers happy, they gain traction through word of mouth.
Customers are happy actually leads to people talking about us and referring us, right? And so our biggest growth channel is actually customers referring other customers. So the classic word of mouth, which is interesting, right? Because as a digital company, we're actually relying on the oldest way of growth, which is happy customers and word of mouth.
Once the companies are on growth trajectories, there are new challenges that arise with the associated business steps, such as financial planning. Have a look what the CFO of Starmind has to say about this.
Financial planning is definitely one of the biggest challenges currently because we don't know how long Corona is going to affect us and our potential clients. We don't know yet how the economical impact of Corona will be in the next years. Therefore, it's financial planning. It's quite tough. We need to plan in different scenarios with best base and worst case, for example, to make it work.
Of course, growth will always bring new challenges, but 2020 has brought about unprecedented unpredictability, to say the least. This uncertainty carried forward into 2021, and we continue to not know what to expect. COVID-19 doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon and will likely have a continued and stormy impact on the global economy. The pandemic presented us with new challenges and taught us new lessons. Let's hear how Peter and his entire team at Refurbed dealt with working from home.
It's very tricky to get people to collaborate through Zoom if they actually don't know each other personally. It's so much more important. It's so much more difficult that they are helping each other out just because they don't know each other that well personally. And that element is definitely something that is very tricky. And it's something we're trying to solve as well, but is something that is much harder than having older people just in the office, having coffee together, having a beer after work.
COVID has put a dent in these companies' plans, but as Peter mentioned, it is more critical that they are collaborating now than ever before. But aside from the COVID-related issues and the macroeconomic challenges of a growing company, there are also internal challenges. There's so many different tools these days, but have a look at what Tanya Tibach, CFO of Sherpany, has to say about this. Sherpany is a tool that simplifies leadership meetings and ensures efficient collaboration.
Greatest challenges these are a lot. First of all, our tools within the financial team, with the Grow, we have to implement other tools. Currently, we are working, we have a system in place which is a bit outdated.
Of course, with ever-changing technology and endless tools available, it does become challenging to stay up to date. However, Frank Menz from Workday, an expert on the topic of financial management software, emphasizes the importance of having the right tools in place before you actually need them.
Grow a company and you're going international, like you said, in various new markets, right? It's always good to have a system in place that is made ready for international expansion.
When we look at the role of a CFO in a company, you might think they're simply crunching numbers all day long. But when we ask for zoomed out perspective, we get a very different picture. Herbert Sablotny, CFO of Beekeeper, pinpoints the role of the CFO as keeping the focus. Have a look yourself.
I think you want to balance that with a certain focus to really focus on the biggest opportunities. And I think it's part of the finance team and the role of me as CFO to provide the data and the information to the entire company to make the right decisions. Because at the end of the day, it's all about trade-offs. Companies have limited resources, especially startups or scale-ups, and you want to focus on where the biggest opportunity is.
But Jörg Egli even crystallizes, watch yourself.
We need to focus our capacity and resources to those ideas or trends in the market which at least sound most promising. They approach me and say, hey, we have a new idea, we need money, and then you have to, quite often you have to say, no, that's not feasible. We don't have that much money to spend on all of the projects you have in mind.
Sablotny and Egli, in their role as CFO, help harness the capacity of the company to direct their resources in the right way. So, how can a CFO prepare a company for fast growth?
Pretty practical and pragmatic approach is bring siloed systems and siloed processes together, right? And I think having a more unique approach to systems and processes gives you more transparency, but gives you more agility for predicting the future as well, right? If you see the combination, for example, with from HCM and finance, it become obviously that, for example, bad performance maybe on the revenue is tightly linked back to maybe the education status for teams or for employees, right? And so bringing together data and information, I think, is key.
A CFO of a growth-oriented company also needs to have a good ownership of the real-time situation of the company, transparency of the financial, and flexibility to make it all happen when needed. Frank Menz summed it up concisely. And of course, one thing that always helps, no matter the situation: dedication to your clients and customers. But watch it from Peter himself.
It's 100% customer dedication. We want to provide the best solutions to our customers. We want to make our customers happy. And that ultimately leads to very fast growth.
We're really fascinated by these deep insights from the minds of several CFOs from fast-growing companies. We learned about the definition of growth, not exactly what we expected though, how the CFOs suggest to drive growth. They gave some great tips, challenges that arise when companies are growing, such as COVID, but also non-COVID related, and how to mitigate certain issues that may arise from CFOs. And lastly, what is the vital role of the CFO that he plays within a company. CFO Talks, sponsored by Workday, will be back next time, and we'll be taking a look at transparency and flexibility in the workings of the leading CFOs in the industry. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to make sure you don't miss the new videos. I'm Cedric Pollack, and thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.